By request, I'm doing an energy reading on Tucker Carlson. This video is for entertainment purposes only. We all know that the internet is a very strange place, mostly run and controlled by, Palantir and some of the others. So we know that it's a little bit dangerous to tell truth here. Take that for what it's worth. This is a reading on energy. I am an energy reader and healer, and I am going to interpret my energy reading on Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has a huge audience, just like Candace Owens and a couple others. However, his family came from some three-letter agencies, and my reading is that he is definitely not in the light. He has never been in the light. He, Candace Owens, and a couple of others jumped ship when they saw that the ship was sinking and the matrix is falling apart. As you know, they watch you through these devices, through everything we say and do, and they know how to manipulate the collective consciousness. Think of it as a form of a Black Mirror technology, okay? They know how you think, and they know how to present you heroes based on what you think. Tucker Carlson has spoken against the idea that 9/11 was an inside job. He now says that it is. Before he said that it wasn't, only a few years ago. And suddenly his whole tune changed when the ship started sinking. Again, remember, they watch you, okay? They know exactly how to present to you what you want to hear in order to be able to manipulate you through the use of sorcery and through the use of what we would call a non-Sophianic being. Now, don't get me wrong. The things that Candace and Tucker and some of the others are bringing out are great, but neither of them are enlightened beings. And so you have to be careful, because a lot of the things that they're going to say might be true. And of course, they're learning that and basically siphoning that wisdom from the true way showers and being propagated in front of the collective consciousness as if they are in the light. But this took many years for them to come up with the things that they're saying now, because they've been listening to the rest of us trying to teach it to them and to the collective. So Tucker Carlson is not an ascended being in any way. However, again, they do serve a purpose and a good role for the collective ascension process, in that the things that they're saying a lot of are lining up with what is true. And because the ship is sinking, they have to jump over there in order to be, saved. It's a form of saving themselves in some ways, but it's also, it can be very misleading in certain ways. However, I don't disagree with a lot of the things that he's been saying and that Candace has been saying, because they are presenting factual information, particularly Candace. But Tucker is too. I think that if either of them were going to have a chance to get into the light, it would be Candace more so than Tucker. But when I say in the light, I'm talking about enlightened consciousness. And in terms of them from a 3D human perspective, I think that Tucker Carlson, this is my energy reading on him, that he's quite a sellout. And he does what's convenient for him, okay? And he's also part of the club, and so is Candace. So you can't take everything they say with a grain of salt. You have to take it with a grain of salt. You can't trust the whole thing, because there's a lot of complexities with the satanic networks that are working behind the scenes in the human world. I don't, again, dislike anybody. I'm just speaking on energy itself from an enlightened perspective as to where they're at on a soul level. Tucker is a pretty immature soul, more so than Candace. But he does have a great big audience, and the things that he's bringing forth are he's bringing out a lot of truth that he's been learning from the ascended beings and the awakened souls who have been teaching him, just like happened with Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk was saying some things that were good and he was saying a lot of things that weren't, and he had to get schooled. And Tucker's been getting schooled, and he's been changing his tune a lot. And when somebody just quickly starts to change their tune, like within a couple of years, and all of a sudden they go from one thought form to another, you have to be a little cautious about that. It's one thing if you watch them go through a full transition, but it's another thing when they just flip the script and all of a sudden there's something else. So for me as a psychic medium, I don't trust him. I don't trust him one bit. But I do like some of what he's doing and how it's helping the collective of humanity, because it's blowing the lid off of a lot of things that really need to come to the light. And yet this part of me, or my guides, really always tell me to be very cautious around him or with him and what he's doing, because there's something playing out behind the scenes with him still that's nefarious. And the same thing with Candace, but I think that Candace is she's truly passionate about what she's doing and saying, and I think some things have been waking up in her that are causing her to be, the fire in her is being lit. I think with Tucker, it's more of a game and a show. And that's what I've been shown. And so I just wanted to share this per request. If you're interested, I'm considering also giving you an energy reading on Roseanne Barr. So if you want to see that one, say Roseanne Barr in the comments, and I'll do the next video for you on my energy reading with her. Until then, I would say if you're following Tucker, it's okay to follow him and hear the things he's saying, and you should do that. You should do that with Candace and listen to what they're saying and use your discernment, of course, but it's okay to follow them. But I would say be very careful about glorifying them or thinking that they're some great, hero of the day, because both of them, along with a few others, stepped off the stage of the mainstream just a few years ago, right as things started to really unfold with COVID. And they all went the other direction. It was like a handful of them. Boom, they flipped the script. And whenever that happens, especially synchronistically where all of them did it at the same time, there's something else going on behind the scenes, okay? So pay really close attention to that. And if you're following him, I would say go back and look at some of the things he's saying now and what he used to say before about them. Not just 9/11, but some of the other events that have been very common topics for conspiracy theorists or whatever else. As a psychic, I can see that he is a very undeveloped soul, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have light in him. It just means that he's not ready for like 5D ascension, okay? You're going to see a lot of Qers and QAnons all of a sudden believing in starseeds now, because they're starting to get that we're not going away and we're not going to stop talking about the truth about our galactic origins. And so you're going to see a lot of phonies coming out and acting like they're gurus on these subjects when they're just copycats that are trying to get in the cool kid crowd when they're way late to the show. And it's okay to start learning about those things, but being presented as a guru on it is very dangerous. And so that's for Tucker Carleson, your energy reading today. My name is Ellen Red. I'm a psychic medium and enlightenment teacher. Feel free to like and subscribe, and make sure that you've shared this video out to others so that they can hear this as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.